This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today, since I've been talking about a lot of the Transformers from Generation 2 that have not made it into Legacy Line, which is pretty much all of the original Generation 2 Transformers, except for the Laser Rod Optimus Prime. And here is our original G2 Laser Rod Optimus Prime to take a look at. Now I'm just going to note right here, I don't put stickers on Transformers anymore, and I haven't done that for a long time. And it started with Generation 2, in fact. So that really cool sticker there that shows Optimus Prime shooting a laser into a fire with Optimus Prime Octane on it, that was pre-applied, otherwise it wouldn't have ended up on him. Also, there's a sticker on the side of his cab that says Optimus Prime also. Yeah, that too would not have been put on if I had to do that myself. But this was part of the Laser Rod line of Transformers, and what made that special? Well, let me show you. The Laser Rod Transformers had light-up features. In the case of Optimus Prime's cab here, his headlights turned on. Not a big deal, but I mean, it's still kind of cool for a kid's toy. So if we take a look at his cab mode here, the tractor trailer there, or the tanker, the sword came off. The sword actually fits on him back here. Shoot. So his sword hangs out down there out of the way. Then you can see his side, his front, his other side. And if we look on top here, you know, honestly from the top, you really don't see a whole lot of robot kibble. Like, it's kind of a weird design back there, but it doesn't really stand out too horribly. Of course, once you get down here, actually without the stickers, you don't see a whole lot of robot kibble either. Because there were stickers that go in here, and I think over here and stuff. And of course, his sword is an obvious dead giveaway. Take the sword out, though, and we can transform him into robot mode. So we will start pulling his legs down. Now, the joints of this are kind of loose. Oh. And you'll note, apparently, I think I had this guy positioned next to somebody else in storage, where it was incompatible plastic, because you can see the one tire is slightly melted. And even the melted form kind of has a bit of a shape, so that's why I'm thinking it was pushed up against something that it reacted badly to. I just don't know what, and I'd have to go through the entire bin to figure it out, I'm sure. What would you guys think about doing that as a video? Just pulling down my bin of Transformers Generation 1 and Generation 2 figures and going through them. Alright, so we've got the legs pulled back. Flip the feet down front. We can split the legs if we want, but since there's no ankle rockers on this one, it doesn't really make a difference like it would have with modern Transformers, where you could actually spread the legs instead of the feet flat. So for the arms, I think it's usually easier to kind of pull these ones out a little bit. And then you need to pull this sideways a little. And as you move it, you kind of keep it forward while you're bending everything into place there. So it kind of like shifts over and down at the same time. Same thing over there. We pull down his grill, push his head up, slide it down around, and we have Optimus Prime's robot mode. It's a cool robot mode. I have no real qualms against it. Let's raise this up a little bit more so you can see his pretty face. His sword goes in his hand, and let's show you guys another feature of this one, shall we? Now remember, Optimus Prime's headlights turned on. He's also got a light going from the headlight into his hand. So when you have a sword in his hand, or his gun even, which is hidden in the tanker truck, that too will light up. That's cool. Of course, you can kind of see the headlight from underneath the arm as well. So before we move on to the trailer, I do want to bring out for comparison the Legacy version of the Generation 2 Optimus Prime. And while you could say that it looks better and has better articulation, you know, ankle rockers and such, as far as playability went, I don't think he was as much fun. First off, I'm just going to straight out say, I will not be doing a vehicle comparison with these two, because I absolutely loathe transforming the Legacy version of this figure. It has got to have been one of the biggest pain in the asses that I've ever dealt with. And they've repainted him twice. You know, they did the Robots in Disguise universe Scourge, which I mean, I just posted the video for that one for Scourge 2 not too long ago. Well, I guess it'd be a week ago and today, wouldn't it? And then they did that Toxitron, which was also just a repaint of this version of Optimus Prime. And I recorded myself with the Toxitron one. I did kind of record a review, but I fumbled that transformation so bad. It was ridiculous because I just could not remember a damn thing. And I just don't like it. I should probably post that just raw, the transformation attempt. Maybe you guys would get a kick out of it. Maybe not. But anyway. Also, instead of coming with the usual tech spec, Optimus Prime, and I think the other laser rods came with this weird card thing. So on this side, we see Optimus Prime. When we flip it over, we have a Transformers logo and laser rod and Transformers. But there's also some folds. Because this opens up like so. Optimus Prime, function leader. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Showdown with Megatron in Sector 17 of the Minotron constellation left Optimus Prime severely damaged. Entire structural integrity and logistic surgery processors were programmed into sleeker, stronger, combat-ready configuration. Now, this ultimate superhero has an arsenal of weaponry ready to repel and attack and immobilize Megatron once and for all. With Optimus's giant laser-targeting rocket launcher, ripple, fire, missile blaster, and armor-piercing discs, Megatron had better think twice before firing the next shot, or it could prove to be his last. Strength 10, Intelligence 10, Speed 9, Endurance 10, Rank 10, Courage 10, Firepower 10, Skill 10! And part of the deal with this is, maybe you can see it here, there's like a little cutout around here. So the idea was you would fold this up, this cutout of Optimus Prime would stand up. You would fold this over so he would be standing in front of this thing here. Which now that I think about it, I wonder if I should scan this in and use this as the background for the Generation 2 Transformers at this point. That might not be a bad idea. Alright, I've been putting off the trailer for a while now. So the trailer is a tanker trailer, looks pretty good. Those are the rapid firing discs. You can launch them in vehicle mode. Like so. But that's not all. We can open up the front, and that's where we have Optimus Prime's gun stored. A lot of Generation 2 really did try to start the whole hiding the weapons inside the vehicle modes as best as possible. You know, because they're supposed to be robots in disguise. And when you have a car with a missile launcher or a Gatling gun on top of it, it's not quite as disguised as it should be. But let's go ahead and pull the gun out of here. And, well, there was a part that's attached to that. It's stuck back there. It does not affect anything else that we're about to do. So we'll take the sword out of his hand. It's actually too bad they didn't do this with both hands. Have Prime with his gun there, and we will do again. Turn out the lights. So Optimus Prime has his gun in hand. Boom. There you see a, kind of looks like a smiley face actually. Or a meh face, I guess I should say. But yeah, his blaster lights up. And actually, it lights up in multiple parts on the blaster, as you can see there. That makes this Optimus Prime one of the coolest Transformers that they put out in Generation 2. That being said, I want to show you guys something. If you can see this, there's this little like gray piece here. It is a button to trigger the transformation of the trailer. So we got the front down. That button's in place. And we push. And boom, his trailer automatically opens up to its base mode most of the way. Not 100% of the way, but most of the way. We have to take this part, which, by the way, we have some missiles here for it. But we also have 5 loose missiles that would have been in there normally. But in all truth, this thing is rather old, and a lot of its functions are worn out. And so it doesn't necessarily all sit like it used to. Gosh, nothing wants to. But this is that ripple fire thing. So you could just push those little gray buttons there and it would launch. But like I said, I pulled it off of there and then it pushes onto here. So it can rotate and so forth. We lift up the disc launcher and spin it around. Of course, we already took the discs out. We launched them earlier. You'll note there is a plunger here in the middle. It is, of course, for the... Oh, my. You know what? Took me 10 years to figure this out. All right, so by the way, there's this, the launcher here has this little thing here, and it actually slides into that slot back there. I don't know if you can see it. So it actually can hold into place there. Like, honestly, it would have made more sense if they designed something on here for it to hold on to, so you could have it out. But, so just to show you guys this at the front, this part folds down, and you have the launch cannon here, which of course you can put a missile on. Although, you have to get it on just right for it to actually go on there. And technically you can fit the missile in here when you close it up. You just have to squish the rubber tip, which we don't like doing. So if we turn this sideways, get everything kind of out of the way, we can launch the missile. And there was a spare missile here as well. Because remember, like, even if you have like functions like missile launching in toys today, you never get like the spare missiles like this. So this is actually really cool. So we can fold that back up again. Oh, yikes. Of course, if you don't fold it up correctly, it doesn't want to go together correctly. So I have this theory that somebody at Hasbro had been like, well, now that we have this ginormous Megatron, I think we need an Optimus Prime that's a bit bigger than the previous one. So why don't we design a new Optimus Prime? And that's where we come up with the Laser Rod Optimus. Of course, when you look at these two side by side, or front to back as it were on the right side there, it does kind of look like Megatron is the big spoon and Optimus is the little spoon. As far as their vehicle modes go, I actually think that they might be in scale with each other, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Although, to be honest with you, I always kind of feel like Megatron should be bigger than Optimus Prime anyway. So that pretty much completes our look at the Generation 2 Laser Rod Optimus Prime figure. One of the coolest Optimus Prime toys that they've made in the Generation 2 line. Well, okay, so they only made like 4, but yeah, he's definitely the coolest. And this one would eventually be repainted into the Transformers Robots in Disguise version of Scourge. However, they did take all the electronics out, both in Japan and the US. I know this because a friend of mine got the Japanese release version, and all the electronics were gone. And I got the US version, and all the electronics were gone. But again, overall, this was one badass figure. It was a great toy to play with as a kid, and I loved it. I mean, the Hero version is still my favorite version of Optimus Prime, design-wise. But this guy is probably second. I mean, I'll always love the classic G1 version of Optimus Prime. But you still have to admit on occasion that there are things that you like a little bit better, and this would be one of them. So why don't you guys tell me what you think of this version of Optimus Prime, or this toy specifically? I know this version has been released in Legacy, and, well, I mean, I showed you the robot mode. The trailer for that one was absolute garbage, as I said. I hated it. I packed it away. There was no reason to keep it out. It looks stupid. It's also too small again. This has been one of the problems with a lot of the Optimus Primes they've done with trailers, is that the trailer is not to scale with the cab. Like, it's fine. I don't have an issue too much with Transformers not being in scale with each other, but when their own accessories aren't in scale with them, that's when it becomes an issue. And so far, only the Studio Series Optimus Prime has had a trailer that was at the right scale for him. Although, if you do take the Earthrise Optimus Prime trailer and put it with the Legacy G1 toy version of Optimus Prime, they're at about the right scale for each other there. But that's a different story. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the original Generation 2 Laser Rod Optimus Prime. And if you did, please feel free to like the smash button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future or see some of my other Generation 2 retro reviews, please subscribe. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.